Nikki Haley, Republican candidate for president, former ambassador to the United Nations, former governor of South Carolina. Ambassador Haley, thank you for joining us this morning. We just saw Donald Trump set to surrender today. You were asked on the stage last night if you would vote for him for president, support him for president, even if he were convicted on felony charges. Why would you vote for a convicted felon to be president of the United States?
Well, first of all, he hasn't been convicted yet, but I also trust the American people. I don't think it's going to get to that point. I think Donald Trump's going to spend more time in court next year than he's going to spend on the campaign trail, and I think that Americans are tired of talking about the past. I think that they feel the fact that inflation has hit them hard. It's more expensive to buy groceries and gas. They can't afford child care. 50% of Americans can't afford diapers. They want transparency in the classroom. That's not happening. We see high crime. We see an open border, and they're worried about national security. Those are the issues real Americans want to talk about. They don't want to talk about a former president and the court cases that he has.
Well, they may not want to, but you were asked the question. You're the one who said, you raised your hand when you were asked, would you support him if he were convicted on those felony charges? I just simply asked you, why? Why would you vote for a convicted felon to be president of the United States?
Because I am not comfortable with the President Kamala Harris becoming president. I think we would be in a far worse situation. I don't even think it's going to get to the point that Donald Trump becomes president. I think that I'm going to be the nominee, and I think that we are going to win. And I think the fact that we're going to let these court cases play out, everyone's innocent until proven guilty. We'll see what happens. If he's guilty, he'll have to deal with it. But I believe the American people know what to do with that, and I trust them to do that. I don't think that we need to go and push something one way or the other. I think we need to be talking about what we're going to do about inflation and the border and national security. I think that the media spends way too much time talking about Donald Trump, and I think we need to talk about the fact that we need a new generational leader. We need someone who's going to take America to a better place. And it's time that we had term limits in D.C. It's time that we quit talking about the past, and it's time that we start talking about what the new solutions are for us going forward.
I didn't quite understand part of your answer there. The Republican nominee likely be running against not Kamala Harris, but Joe Biden. Why would it be better to vote for a convicted felon than President Joe Biden?
Well, you're assuming that he's convicted, and you're assuming he's going to be the nominee,
no,
George.
you
and
were
I
asked a
disagree
question
with both
that was
of those.
based on that assumption, and you said you would vote for him.
Well, first of all, a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Kamala Harris. You know that, and I know that. There is no way that Joe Biden's going to finish his term. I think Kamala Harris is going to be the next president, and that should send a chill up every American spine. But I also think the fact that we have a primary.
Excuse me, 1 second, Ambassador. How do you know that Joe Biden's not going to finish his term? What is that based on?
Ask Americans, do you think he's going to finish his term? Do you think that he's actually going to finish what he started? We look at the decline he's had over the last few years. You have to be honest with the American people, George. There's no way that Joe Biden's going to finish out a next term. We can't have an 81-year-old president. We have to have a new generational leader. The Senate has become the most privileged nursing home in the country. We have got to start making sure we have a new generation. Everybody feels that. Republicans, Democrats, and independents feel that. And it's time that the media acknowledge that. Y'all want to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump. We want to talk about the future of this country. That's what we have to start doing.
Again, you didn't answer the question. What evidence do you have that he's not going to finish the term? If what Americans feel has no basis on whether he's going to finish his term or not.
I mean, if you look at the decline, I mean, every person should be able to tell what country they were in the week before. He couldn't do that. Every person should be able to tell how many grandkids they have. It's the reason I've asked for a mental competency test for anyone over the age of 75. I don't care if we do it for over the age of 50. But we need to understand that the people in D.C., they're making decisions on our national security. They're making decisions on the future of our children's economic policy. We need to make sure we've got someone at the top of their game. Joe Biden is not at the top of his game. You know it, I know it, the American people know it.
You agree with Joe Biden on Ukraine, don't you?
And I think we need a new generational leader who is at the top of their game.
I was watching the debate. You agree with what he's doing on Ukraine?
I agree with the fact that we need to defend Ukraine. I think Ukraine is the front line of defense for us defeating Russia. The same way I think that we have to make sure that we fund Israel, that we have to make sure we have the back of Taiwan. So, yes, I think that we need to defend Ukraine, but that's not about Joe Biden. That's about strong American national security
that he is leading right now. Ambassador Haley, thanks very much for your time this morning.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here. to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.